Two microphones at once. My name is Steve Robison. I, by default, am representing the AHRF, who's putting on this shindig today. We thank you all for coming out, especially those of you that traveled great distances to be here. Welcome to Provo, Utah. Welcome to Bart Jeppesen. We appreciate him taking time to put together and get prepared for this. Looks like an exciting discussion. To have our minds melted. And we're looking forward to that. Melting my mind is always something that I like to do every once in a while, just to clear out the dross that comes up every once in a while. So without further ado, we'll turn the time over to Mr. Bart Jeppesen after I get him wired up.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. Walk on. Okay. How do I start? Okay, I'll start with what got us here. Well, about 12 years ago, I asked Floyd Mann to cut me some glass shapes. He said, "What for?" And I said, "I want to build something, but I need these shapes. I need to etch some images in it because it goes in this other contraption." He said, "Well, what's it look like?" I said, "I can see it, but I can't describe it, but I need these." That was 12 years ago. Still nothing on them because it's all up here. And today I'm going to show you what was supposed to go here. Anyway, I want to start out with Lori. You want to, and then we'll go to Billy and Kenny.
Hi, my name is Lori, and I've been working with Bart now for about 3 years. I'm kind of his camp boss. So when we have a lot of folks coming in, I run the entire camp as far as making sure everybody's fed, watered, sleeping, got warm blankets, etc. Outdoor showers as well, because I need to stay clean. It has been a fantastic journey. I've learned a great deal, and I've seen some fantastic and wonderful things that.
Hey, Bart, you gotta stand closer to us when you're on the mic.
All right. Sure.
That's all right.
We got the mic.
That's all
Is
right.
she talking to the mic?
Yeah.
Talking to the mic.
All right.
Do you want to repeat everything?
Everybody is showered and clean, and Bart was a fantastic outdoor shower last year, but in May was quite degrading. But we have a wonderful time. We have great teams that come out. We have a group of about 17 to 22 people come out to camp and stay with us for anywhere from 2 days to 10 days last year. It was fantastic. So. But that's my job, is reality check, making sure that what he sees really somebody else sees, and it's not quality.
Yeah. Okay. Come on up. That was kind of a big thing for us. You know, what they did for us, the folks in Germany were working with me and all my issues I was having. So they actually were thinking about me, and when they developed this machine, I've tried everything. I spent $38,000 on an OKM that wouldn't get the same results. We got this in a matter of 10 minutes, and it's just quick. It's right, it's good stuff. So that's, you know, I'm here to help. And any way we can help.
But one thing I didn't say is when you run your scans, you can actually, it lays it right in your tablet. You can just walk over and see it right immediately.
Immediately.
You don't have to go to the computer. You can put it right on site.
It's good stuff. But anyway, I didn't come here to sell books or anything like that. I brought some just for you to look at, because that's not why I'm here. I'm not here to sell books. I'm here to share something that we have been working on. Plus, the camera is rolling, right? Okay, this is for somebody else out there who I talked to last October, and the answer is no. Okay? The reason being is who decides who controls what? You know, we're always being controlled by this guy or that guy. Does somebody have the right to buy everything I have and then nobody else get any? You know, that ain't right. I worked hard. I've always believed in sharing. People come. Skylar's been to my place, and I teach. No. So this is why I'm here, the real reason. I'm here to share, and hopefully some of you will be able to see something during this that will click, and you'll be able to find what we're talking about, and it doesn't take very long once you find these points. It's quick. Okay, now, in my videos, if you've watched my road to Jerusalem, of course I talked about the equipment, but I talk about these protection symbols, and everybody thinks, he's nuts. Well, first of all, anything that you find out there, and you're going to see impossible stuff, pretend you got a box. Anything that's impossible, put it in this box, because your mind has to have a place to file it. If it doesn't, it'll keep running like a computer. It'll whack you out. I've had 2 partners, they just went crazy. I mean, they're done. They're on drugs, sitting home. Anyway, so keep that in mind. That way I'm not responsible if any of you whack out, because I told you about the box. Okay? All right, now, I tell everybody that the way these things work is you just trace them out. You just kind of go around them and trace them. And after you trace it out, it doesn't work anymore. What had happened is I've been walking by this map, I don't know, 100 times. Every time I come by this map, man, why don't I think about Jerusalem right now? Jerusalem. I never think about Jerusalem, but every time in this area, I think about Jerusalem. Well, one day I happened to be sitting there and I see a bunch of these diamonds. Wow, so I took some soapstone, I kind of traced them out. All right, there's some diamonds. Boom, suddenly, right there, I've been walking by this map, 20 by 20, carved on a cliff, the Jerusalem map. 50 or 100 times I walked past this. Never seen it before. Anyway, these sites will have these there, and they place them. And this stuff works. And what it really means, I'm always telling people, trace it out. Nobody ever traces it. The Alpha Omega. I am the beginning and I am the end. That's a holy protection symbol. And I have talked about just trace it out for, 6, 7 years, and nobody's ever figured it out. So I'm sharing that today. But anyway, I'm going to ramble some so I can get you guys all in this thinking mode so I can do this. I have this friend in New Mexico, and he's pretty smart, knows a lot of stuff about treasure hunting, but sometimes he's too smart. So I call him up one day and I says, dude, what do I do? I got these triangles. What do you know about triangles? I need something else because I'm stumped. He said, well, you measure all the way around it, and then he gave me this gosh awful math formula. I just went, huh? That don't sound right. You add all this up, and then you walk that many feet. And it's got to be simpler than that. And I says, well, what do I do if I got 1,000 of them? He said, 1,000? How can you have 1,000 triangles? And I said, I do. I says, but I got one in particular that is of interest to me. He said, well, measure that one. I said, can't measure it. He says, well, why not? I says, because I could see it, but when I walk to it, it's not there anymore. It's gone. It disappears. And that's part of what I talk about, the Philosopher's Stones. In these sites, they'll have one of these things somewhere in your site, and it will change as you move around. And all they're doing is, Lori's going to show some images of that here in a little while, but as you move around, this pile of rocks suddenly takes shape. So it changed from a triangle, it changed to a square, it changed to a circle, it changed to like a hazmat symbol, it changed to a sun. Skylar's been witness to that. How does it, wow, what are these things for? All they're telling you is you're in the right spot when you see that. You're just moving around. They want you to see something. So that's basically all the Philosopher's Stone is. And she's going to show something here in a little bit, and we'll go through that. Now, we'll talk about, I got this stuff wrote down. I wrote all this down, and then I told Lori I'm just going to wing it. Just wing it. Okay. Yeah, that's the best way. All right. Here's a little thing I want you guys to think about. Okay, housing division comes in, and they build houses. And you guys have all seen this. They build houses and houses, and each one is a replica of the next one and the next one and the next one. We see it when we drive down the highway. Okay? So everything's fractal. The only thing we can change is what color the house is, how we do our yard, what we put in the house. But basically, it's still the same. This house is this house, this house, this house, this house, this house. So, when you think about it, if you got one good floor plan, blueprint, you use it again, and again, and again. But you still have to have a way of, nobody can cheat. Say something's there in that house. Okay, well, in this house, it's here too. But when I come here and find it, the next time I can't go right there and find it again because it's not there. But yet they're using the same plan over and over and over, but yet it's in a different spot. And that's what I'm going to teach you guys today, how that works. Anyway, let's see here. Lori, before we do this, you want to show them the grids? She's going to show you some images before I press on. And you want to think of your site as like a piece of graph paper. So when you work your sites, a grid. You're working a grid. This is how they did everything. All these turtles you're seeing, what do you do when you got 200 turtles? I got 200 turtles. All the turtle stuff I've ever heard is gone out the window, just like the triangles. But yet, each of them are true. Follow the turtle. You know, it still works. But these places are a little different. If I follow it and go over here, okay, I'm over here and I got nothing. I do this one and that one. Pretty soon I put it over in another box where it's not working. I need something else. You ready? Okay, show them grids. This is regular grid, but you also got circles. And I'm going to explain these. Go on again. You got triangles. Okay, and go on to the next set of pictures. So you got to view your sites as a grid. Forget about everything. All this stuff does work, but like I got one turtle that was right. It pointed right where it was supposed to be. One turtle out of 200. You know, I'm not going to go around and dig 200 holes. Okay. Yep. Yep. They're the magic eye. Okay. This will give you an idea of the Philosopher's Stone. I really like this one. As you move around, it's rubble. As you move around, you see in the right spot it's an eye, but as you move around, it's just a pile of rocks. But as you come around again, around the outside, suddenly it jumps out. It's an eye. That's how these triangles and these squares and these circles are formed. These guys were smart. We can't even do that. It just blows me away. That stuff was in here for a while. Okay, the next one. You have the other one? Okay. All right. Still searching? Okay. Okay. I'll put it up and we'll show this one. That's all right. It's our first time. They can forgive us as long as they get the gist of it. Okay. Now, they do this with trees. People say the trees don't work. I got lots of trees that, you know, they work. You see how it's changed? As you move around, you go out in your yard and you trim your hedges and you create stuff. But these guys, they could trim a little bit here, trim a little bit here, a little bit there. And as you walk around, holy cow, look at that. And then you walk over here and it's not there anymore. The stuff still works. Now, as far as like your quakey aspens and stuff like that, the theory of them growing up and dying, yeah, that's good. But they can use the whole grove of trees. One massive one. I've seen that in New Mexico down there. They had groves of trees that we changed to triangles. And this is like 500 to 800 feet across. They were changing, and they had different trees they planted inside. The trees would grow up and die. They'd grow up again and die, grow up again. But the same symbols were still represented. Now, the ones we're working with are cedars, and they have a long life, and a lot of that stuff is, some of them trees are 1,000 years old. And it's just amazing, you know, the stuff that we see out there. Do you have any of the, show them the greenery pictures real quick before I go on. Yeah, the one with the rabbit, yeah. Yeah, you like that one? That was my favorite one. It drove me nuts. It did. That's fine. Yeah. She was just praying that I wouldn't yell at her. You like that one, huh? The rabbit? Yeah. Okay, see the rabbit? Now what got me, hold it right here, is we were doing something at that point. And we'd followed the cipher, everything that we'd learned to the spot, about where, well, actually it'd be up over here a little bit. But suddenly, oh no, there's a rabbit here. It just changed everything on what we were thinking. So this one here bothered me because if you read up on rabbits, and you know, you gotta do your research. You know, it's a rabbit, so I gotta know about rabbits now. You know, before I might have to learn about a spider. Why do I need to learn about this spider? Well, that's what they get to do with these things, these sites. They get to pick. what you're doing. They get to pick the storyline. The blueprint is the same. It's repeated. The storylines are different. So just keep that in mind. What else you got, Lori? Well, we have buffalo too. And buffalo. I've got dragons. Okay, the hand. This is a good one. The hand here, the fingers are all cut off, detached. As you walk along the ridge, the one finger moves from joint to joint. It also plays a huge role. It only moves when you move around. And there's more to that, and some of it I can't talk about, but this actually changes position, this finger. So you got to look for stuff like that. So when I talk about the illusions, or it's in the greenery, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. People, they focus on a symbol. Wow, I got this symbol, and it's like this. What does it mean? I got the picture right here. It don't mean nothing to me, because what I want is not directly in front, because you can't be directly in front. You got to stand off the side and take a picture of the whole thing. And then you go back again and again to about 100 feet, and you want to space and get 3 more pictures, because the information is around it. That's where you're getting your information. And this here plays a part, but without the rest of it, I got nothing. I can't help nobody. Okay. All right. What else we got, Lori? We didn't put the buffalo in there.
No.
Okay. And that was it. All right. Let me see where we're at now here. Okay, we got the woods. Okay. Let's talk about. Do you got a picture of the ghost? Because that's a cool one. The ghost, if we have it.
Which one?
There were one in the campfire, the horse rider. Okay, we would actually hear horses at night coming through camp, and actually this guy is actually carved out there on the rocks in several places. He's also in the trees. They pruned him in the trees, and he's a cowboy. And I don't know if you can see him too well. They're gonna be able to see it. Do we need to darken the light? All right. We didn't even know this was in here. Are they going to be able to see him? Okay, yeah, you can see where I'm sitting. To the right of me, you can see the horse, and the man's leaning over. Okay. All right. Here's the horse. He's a white horse. Here's this cowboy. He's got like a Jesuit hat and a long-handled mustache. He's leaning in, and we didn't know this was there. We just took the picture and shipped it off, and a friend of mine out of Florida, who's a big part of our group, his wife sent it back. Said, you need to look at this. Does this guy play a part? And I said, well, yeah. I got a map of him. He's carved up in the rocks. And we also have white horses. And we also been hearing horses come through camp. And there ain't no horses out there where we've been. But I found it was quite interesting because he was leaning in and listening to our conversation that night. So I just had to point out that there are things that we don't know. We can go into here until we can prove it. That one. We'll pass on that one. Okay. All right. Come here. You can hold this for me right up here because I'm going to talk about it real quick.
What are you going to do?
Just hold it up. And then you can tape it right in front of you. Okay, hold it up. He's my, he didn't want to talk, so we're going to do this to him. Okay, go ahead and back up so everybody can see. Okay, over the last 20 years, each one of these spots I've located by following symbols, and each of them had led me to the next one, and each of them were a part of the next one. So after all these, this is about 160 miles, okay? But they all led me back into here. So my hand of God sits right there, my gates. Then I got all these, I've got them labeled, you guys will be able to look at that later. But this is the hub, the center hub. So all these sites I call drones, because they're 50% there. They work on opposites, and I have some pictures of those. I'll give you guys afterwards. But these sites, they're set up on opposites. So you need like a cross. Here, I'll draw one. One of them that I brought with me is a dart like this, and then over here, it's like this. It's on the cliffs. This is a cave. It was inside and dark. This was carved out, outside and light. 4 opposites. I call them double daggers. Your drones work on double daggers. That's how they work. 50% chance it's going to be there, 50% chance it's not, because it's all being shipped to your hub right here. From here, it goes out when they come to get it. Now, up where we're at, hopefully, they haven't hauled it off in cases, because, they do haul it off. But a lot of things have happened. So if you got one of these, your best chance is going to be here. It's like I told my buddy in Florida. I said, I've worked all these sites. I've got this big one. If we're going to do this, and all the right people come together, let's get it. Let's go get this one because I want this one. These others are easy, chances of anything being in there, slim to none. And everybody's looking for those little ones. Why not go for the bank vaults? That's where the big money is, and that's what we got here for you guys to show. Okay, go ahead and tape it up somewhere for me. Okay. Where's my... Before I go any further, all that you need is a cheap compass. That's it. Don't use GPS. Don't use a phone app because it won't work. GPS, you can GPS it, but when you come back, it's not going to be that spot. It might be 20 feet over here. So you can't find a center between this point and that point over there with the GPS. You get over there, oh, now it's telling me it's over here. So just forget that. I like to carry one of these too. It's an old camera. You can get them like at one of them not dollar stores, but junk stores. It doesn't work, but I can look through it and you can see stuff that your eyes don't see. So I always say take pictures because your pictures will show you stuff. You can do this with these old cameras. And I did it for quite a while, but after you do all day like this, you fall down a lot. So I learned how to do it without doing this. There's also down at your welding shop, they have these that go in your hoods. They'll help you see better. They're pretty cheap. They're two different lenses. So these work really well, but you got to mess with them because it depends on the light or if it's rained. If you got something written on a rock or an image and you can't see it, bang, this is going to tell you what's there. And this thing is awesome. And I've tried all kinds of stuff, and this is one of the things I really like, as well as this, but I don't need this anymore because I've trained myself to see it. Let's see here. Also, I want to point out that write everything down. Take pictures, write everything down, because if you don't, when you go out again, you're starting all over again. You got to remember what you did last time. All my books are about what I wrote down. And in these here, I draw everything. I take pictures. I draw on the pictures, all my information. This is how I keep from forgetting. I don't have to start over again. Without pictures and without one of these, you're just starting all over every time. You're just wasting time. Okay. Now, let me find my eraser right here. Before we get to the box, I got to talk about this. And because my main focus here is to show you all how to work this box and what all these numbers here mean, because they're really confusing, but they do play a part. All right. So it comes like this and over. This, see how I got this one drawn, it comes down like this. Okay. This is an entrance symbol. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before, but this means entrance. Now the end can be the other way. It doesn't really matter. It means the same thing. Now what we have here is how it relates is up here you've got an outside north point. It comes like this and it means something like that. Down here you have a south point and it's divided, and thanks to Skyler, he did that one for me when we seen that one. You rock. Anyway, this one was just a tree, but on the hillside, they had laid this pattern out on the hillside. This is talking about the O, and this is your south point. Now, the only way this works is when you're up here is you're looking this way. South, it's directly south. You're looking this way, it's not north. It's only south this way. Okay, now from here, you look this way to your east point. From over there, it's not west. It's only one direction. You have to keep that in mind on here. Down here, I happen to have that way over here. This was my outside point to the box that I'm going to teach you guys. Okay? Let me erase that. I don't like this eraser, babe. That's all right. Okay. All right. Okay. In order to find treasure, you got an area, oh, there's treasure out here. So you wander around, you're following this, you're following that. Pretty soon you got it, you're all confused. But if you find these outside points, they come like this, you've just contained your treasure. You put it inside the box. So now, it ain't out here, it's in here. You just saved yourself a lot of time. So in the inside, what you need to find, this is the key points, and this is what you're going to need to find. Your north inside fixed point will look something like this with a hole in it, or a line like that, okay? That's your north fixed point. Your south point will look something like this. And the reason being is if you take a circle and you write all the eyes are around the one. I've counted 600 sets of eyes at the last site. There's supposed to be 1,000. Okay, what they're doing is, see that? That's why. Because this is on the circle. That's why every one of these are going to be one of your points that you're going to need to find, but you don't need to find it. I had to find it in order to solve this. Compass. That's all you need. All it's talking about is your compass. That's all you need. What? Do we have one? Okay. Do we have one of the fixed north point too handy? So it can be pretty spooky when you walk in there and you got like 600-700 sets of eyes, and these are like faces carved into the rocks, and you're walking around, you can actually see them watching you. And I spent lots of time walking around, okay, how long is he going to watch me? How long is he going to watch me? And then when he stops watching me, okay, now he's watching me. Now he's not. Well, what is he watching? So I go up and around and see what he was watching, what his job was. It's kind of freaky out there. They watch you come, they watch you go, they watch you move around. But that's what the eyes are all about. 1,000 eyes around the one. Did you find it? Okay, this one here is kind of hard to see, but it was near my first center. It's in the trees. You can see an eye right here. There were several of them through here, but this one I like best, so we chose this. And some of it I can't show you because it shows other stuff. But this is just some of the things they put in the trees for you to see. And this is the stuff nobody believes, but it still works. It works. We map it, and we've computed it, and we're finding stuff. What do we got? Okay, here's my buffalo. Probably not a very good image, but you can see them up on the cliffs. See this hole here? That's one of them eyes. Eyes. All on here, there's eyes. They can be up in the trees. They can be circles on the cliffs. They can be laid out on the ground as a pattern. But those represent your compass points around. Okay, you follow me? Okay, what else we got? Here's another set of eyes. See them? They get kind of freaky. When all the eyes are around you and you can see them, you know you're in the right spot to start because you're close to your first center. Here's another set right here. Below here, there's a letter T in the cliffs, and that played a part later on. But there's eyes all right here. We can only see these two, and there's reasons for that. Up on the cliffs, you'll see very seen stagecoaches. They're not stagecoaches, but those old Spanish carriages they did in the trees. How do they do that? These guys were really good, But when you think about these points and how they work, oh, okay, a tree works. Trees die. Okay, so let's morph out of there. Lori, go ahead. Do we have one of the rocks? Okay. Anyway, up along that top of that ridge. Okay, got it killed? All right. Okay, along that ridge, they cut out spots like this in the cliff. And then they cut out places with squares, triangles. Triangles are squares. They even put circles. All those are compass points, all on there. So they mark them. How many people, I've been walking by it for a long time before, holy cow, there's triangles up here. So then I started getting my compass out and started marking these and computing this stuff. Okay, now, if you can figure, in order to do this, for every spot that we found, every point, let's say, for instance, the south point down here, we would lay a grid. We'd start here, and then for everything we've seen out here, okay, we got something over here. I do a compass line, and I put a stake and run a string. Compass line, and put a stake, run a string, and then I'd write it on paper. Then when I move over here, I do the same thing to see how these all relate, because these things are going to do something out here, but we don't know what yet and which one's important. So, yeah, if you can find that one, put that one in there. That's a good one. Okay. Then I'll draw this one real quick. All right, go ahead and I'll draw this. When it gets to there, this is all prep stuff, so I can get you guys in the right mind of thinking, because it's going to get hairy. All right, now back to this one. I don't like these markers at all. Okay, here's my outside, and here is my outside one that was like that, and then I had my in here. But now we're gonna find the box. Okay, the box is in here, and this is where this is at, and this is where this is at. Okay, so we have a line here going from south to north. It's going to be directly, you'll stand here, and you go up there, and it's north. You'll get up there, you go back here, and it's directly south. Now, I argued this a lot with the same friend of mine who's really intelligent in New Mexico. Well, that won't work, because the magnetic north pushes toward, Russia every year and changes, so it can't work. I argued this point for years. It won't work. By the time I get there, I might be 200 feet off. That's a lot of dirt. I don't want to dig like that. There's got to be an easier way. Well, inside the box, it doesn't change. Everything still works. They've contained it inside here. So their path is like that little town, or how the house is. It can be reused over and over and over if you know the path. So once we found this, we needed to find our center. So I just kind of walked along here, because as you're walking and you're using your compass, you're walking north. Okay, it's north, it's north, it's north, it's north. Your right and left is east and west the whole way. At some point in here, there is something in here that's going to line up, bang, 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 and you're going to see it. So then you have your east-west line, your center. You cannot work the sides. From out here, you need your center. So what you need to find is your south, your north, and your center. Once you get this, you got it. You got that part. So I'm a little bit ahead. So in our camp, we spent, 3-4 weeks just right there at camp. I had my stake drove in the ground, my compass mounted right there, and all I did was measure from that spot all the points all the way around and get degrees. And then I wrote it all down, because I was looking for something abnormal. Up here on the outside, where the circles and the triangles and the squares were, between here and there, some of them were 3 degrees. Some of these were 5 degrees difference. Some of them were 12 degrees. Each of them had their own special meaning and purpose. Like a triangle, for instance. A triangle chevron represents a triangle. Another point, another point, another point. Triangles. So you get this. There's another chevron just like it over here. There'll be another triangle over here. They're called chevrons. So this is how they're doing this. They're making I don't know if you've ever heard of Metatron's cube. What we're doing is we're trying to go from here to a center of something like this. It's a circle. And Jerusalem has always been the center of the world, and all maps were created around Jerusalem. But once we get here, we have to follow a path through these other geometric shapes that they created inside an illusion. So you've got to find your centers, and that's where it gets kind of confusing. But from here, as I started getting my readings and seeing how they lined out, and pretty soon it was something like, let's go like this, Holy cow, what do we got here? That's a lot of stuff. But what we found out is that 2 things didn't line up. There was 2 things that stood out that didn't work. We had the fallen crown, and we had the crown royal. These 2 weren't a part of the equation. That's what I was looking for. That one thing that they did that makes all this work. So having these 2 found, and then I also needed my crown royal, so we'll go over here. I'll make another mess. Okay, so we'll go back to here, the center. I got my fixed north. We'll just put fixed north. which is this. And then I got my south, which is that. Over here, when I got my center, I went this way, and lo and behold, I already knew where this was at, but I confirmed it by following the line across. This was my east point, my fixed east point, and this was not inside the box. It was outside the box, but it doesn't matter because it's a line. I had nothing over here because at the end of the equation, this here will be somewhere inside. Because you're coming from your east, when you're done, it'll be on the west side, so that's your west point. So basically, it'll be like this, and then when I'm done, wherever it ends up over here, this will be right there, directly west. Okay. You got any pictures? Yeah, go ahead and show them some stuff, and I'll ramp them up. Okay. She's going to show something real quick. If she can get it going. Now this is a lot to swallow, but by golly, that's my fixed north point. Let me get the stick. See how it kind of comes up on each side and it's got a circle and a line through it. That is my fixed north point right there. And these are common. I just seen another one in I think it was Northwest Washington or Oregon, the guy's talking to me about. He said, I got one of these, plus I got your top crown. So I give him some chord figures, and I said, go make a confirmation. If you've got it, then we'll see what we can do for you. Okay, what else we got? Here's my point on the east, my east point. The tree represents tree of life, or some people call it the Pisces, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, there was actual circles up here. This here is a three-dimensional chest. I traced that out once, but that's too much. Anyway, and it has this coming into it at the base. Well, at the end of our equation, there was an actual tree here with three branches, an old tree, three branches, three stems coming up just like this, and then it had another tree piece of it laying right here. I'm like, holy cow, this stuff does really work. Okay, my south point, so you have to remember that everything's different. We have cedars, so I got a half a circle. The other half would be underneath what is above, what is below. But what I'm not going to show you is the stuff that freaks everybody out. This whole area here is patterned with geometric symbols. In fact, the entire site, I can't step anywhere without stepping on a triangle or a circle or a square. But they also have other things on the ground. In case the trees all burn down, you can still find it. If one symbol is removed, another one takes its place. Okay, now I'm going to show you this without drawing it because I've erased it twice and forgot. Okay, on from my up here, on this point was my Eye of Horus. You have those pictures handy? That's all right. And you guys will all be able to take pictures of this because that's what I'm here for. This one was an Eye of Horus. It was a horse, but the eye was on its butt, so I always call him Eye of Horse Ass. But it actually meant Eye of Horus. And he was up here, and then here I had the Eye of Ra, because I also have Egyptian there. I have apes wearing clothes out there. Apes, now where the heck they come from? You know, they got dresses, and one's got a crown, and then I got baboons there carved in the rocks. Now, where the heck's all this stuff coming from? I got knights in armor. I got one Indian. Is all carved up there, just one. And that was odd because just one Indian. But we had knights, we had the, I've also got INRI, I-N-R-I, for Jesus. It's out there. So, you know, all this, plus the whole site is revolving around Jerusalem because every site has a story. You know, there was a guy that asked me, you know, what about these spiders and stuff? And I said, well, they set it up like a spider web. I said, you have to do some research on spiders now. No, really, I'm serious. You got to do research on spiders. Otherwise, you're lost. Okay, here it is. There's a horse here, see him? There's his head, his first leg, and this is an eye. Because when you turn your picture like that, it's a man's face with an eye right here. But the horse is still here. But we still got the circle and this square for my outside north point. Remember I draw that on there? So that's my Eye of Horus. Eye of Horus. Now show me Eye of Ra. This is the Eye of Ra. The sun setting in the west. That's all it is. They cut holes through the trees. There's a line that comes straight across here, which actually comes across kind of like this, like what we're seeing right here. It crosses the box. I call them 33-degree lines, but they're not really 33-degree lines. They cross the box on the 33-degree points. So the Eye of Ra, I was standing right there when I took this picture. At that time, I thought, wow, this is cool. I had no idea why it was there until later on. When it lined up, oh, now I understand. Because you even clear back here, where I have my crosses, these straight lines clear back over here to where these crosses are. Okay? I will let you guys photo that too. Here, want to hang this up somewhere?
Sure.
Find a spot. Okay, another one of the entrance symbols, they hide this stuff. This is an entrance symbol like he's got in his hand. It's just right on the side of a rock. They just kind of grooved it. What else we got? And there it is again, see? That's all it is. They're really good. Here it is again, carved in stone. Yep. Same thing, entrance symbol. That's all it means. They're telling you that this is here. This box is here. And by doing this, from like where this one was found, they're telling you from here, you can go over here to find this point, and that's where my crosses were. And here was where my Eye of Horus was, up here. So I had to come down here, and then it actually reversed because my south point was here, my north point was here. All they're doing is telling you directions, northeast, south, west. Everybody knows that the Spanish, they hired the best of the best. They had the best surveyors, the best cooks, the best women. They hired everybody the best. They paid money. So if they got the best surveyors, then why not find how they surveyed their site and reverse engineer it, like I've been doing all those other years with the smaller sites. Why not reverse it? And that's where we begin, along all these points around the outside. Went around there, found all the key points, and then we found our center after we found our outside key points, and from there, everything began to roll. What else you got, Laura, you want to show? Okay. All right. Now, something else, I'm going to show you guys this. I'm just going to hold it up for everybody to see. This one's going to be, I'm not going to draw this. This is important to know. Everybody knows about 69, 96 saddlebags. Everybody always thinks it means a little bit of treasure. Well, yeah, it means that, but it means something else. If you think about a horse and you throw the saddlebags over it, stepped over it. That's a line. So from my north point to my south, kind of like this, saddlebags, 69. I also had the number 96 up here, which also played a role. Its opposite was 69. That was and it comes with my cipher. It falls right in. Skylar's walked it with me. The 96, this part here is tricky. Here, find a place to hang that too for me so they can look at
How
it.
many more you got?
A few. I spent some time drawing this. Okay, but before I show you that, one more. I always talk about all the eyes around the one, 36 around the one, the 12 around the one, the 4 around the one, the 8 around the one, 72 around the one, and everybody's like, what is he talking about? Well, if you've got a compass and you think about your compass, you're the center point. 12 around the one, 72 around the one, that's your center. Okay, so here we got our circle, which is inside the box. This is the spot we got to find first, is our first center. And from here, we're going to use what they gave us to follow a path, which takes us to our second center, which is actually another box and a circle that have merged with it, which create the, you got that one with the coin again? So that one, which creates the lunar eye. And also the symbol for going to and coming from. Going to, coming from. You'll see these on maps. Now, if you look at this one up here, you see the 2 outside columns, and inside you got 2 coins, and they're merged together, and then you got a crown on top. Leave it right there for a minute, Lori. Okay, crown symbols, right there. Crown symbols. This particular coin I liked because we actually have dates of 1771 out at the site, which is why I chose this one. We also have, on my Jerusalem map, we have columns. And we also have 1, 2, 3 crowns. And then we have the circle that merges with the other circle to create a lunar eye right in here, which is the going to, coming from symbol. All right, and I actually have photos of that right where we were at, which is really cool because they put it on the ground too. You know, it's just like, whoa. Anyway, all that means is 3 around the one, 120 around the one, is that these are, from the center, these are your points. So if you've got certain points figured out, then these make sense. So when we were working it, I knew which one was 90 around the one. I knew which ones were 72 around the one. I knew where I was at in the box. As you move, these things will change and you get different readings because you're inside the box. Now it's also like clockwork. I talk a lot about clockwork, and I posted stuff on my Facebook page the other day concerning the old clocks that they had. And I don't know how many of you seen it, but they got the symbols in them. All them symbols are at the site. They're using these geometric shapes, and they're putting them up. They're drawing them up. You'll see them. One of my favorites was this one. Come like this, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-sided chevron. I told everybody I am not going to work this one. And then this one comes out like that. It's a star. There's no way I'm going to work this one. It'll drive me crazy. I'm going to stick with the square and the circle because it's round, and this one's only got 4 points. But I ended up doing this one anyway. Right? And I'm going to show you guys how we did that. But each one, you'll find those. Those things right there will be at points. Those chevrons are placed at these places. They give it to you, so all you got to do is go there and do a compass reading, and then you can find your center to that. They're giving you everything you need to know, and it can be circles, it can be squares, it can be a rectangle, because they're in charge of the site. I didn't like that one because I don't think I can do it, but we did it anyway. So when you're moving in here, like I say, I'm a lot. Everything's like clockwork, and I'm going to explain this, but I'm prepping you guys still. When you think about, I've got this poster up there. Okay, all of us have seen this and seen something like this. We've all seen that. Or we could have just seen something like this somewhere. Okay, what they're saying, and this when I say this isn't about religion. Anybody, one particular religion? It is, but through geometry, sacred geometry. When they put this stuff together, these guys were brilliant. I mean, you can hide something in the same place. I'm going to hide it right here. The path goes the same, and you can walk that path. It'll be there every time, but it won't be in the same place. So there's no way to cheat. If I stood here, and I said, okay, I found this one here, and I did a degree reading, and I pasted off all that, it won't work because they control that. So when we got our top crown, and I'll show you how to find that, our top crown's here, our north point's here, our south point here, and let's do the box. Okay, I'm off keter, but that's all right. So we shoot a line through here, through the center, to our north point. We know we got north, but if we shoot a line to our top crown, that's 33 degrees. So from here up to our top crown is 45 degrees. From here, it's 45 degrees straight across. But from here, it's 33. 12 degrees of difference. So if I walk this way, 12 degrees to the 45, I go this way. And if I walk this way, I can find my first center. It's pretty easy. But you need to find your top crown, and that will be always northeast. It will always be northeast. So you got your north point, northeast, east, south. This will always be on the northeast point. And I'll show you some stuff on how they hide that. But, okay, I need this one hung up somewhere where they can read it. Yeah, I'll find a place. Stick it on a wall or a chair. Or I need a drink. And when I'm done, feel free to ask because I know there's going to be some questions. Now, what killed me was, wow, it's been right in front of us all this time. How come we never figured this out? It's been right here. All we're doing is, in the Vatican, huh? Yeah, go through the chevrons real quick while I'm drawing this. You know, because I told her I was going to wing it, and we had this pre-planned thing here that she was going to follow on, and that ain't working. So, okay. This up here, let me get my stick. This here's got a circle and 3 more circles. It's got an M in it. Well, we know that the symbol itself stands for honey. Honey's yellow, it means gold. You know, mother's milk. But it's got an M in it. So an M is also a crown symbol. And the reason being, show them the next one. Okay, if you stand on this side, you still have your 3 points, but now it's a W. Okay, once again, it's a crown. And the reason is because you have the Alpha Omega again. They're the same symbol, but they mean, when you read it from the other side, it's a W, the other side's an M. So they're talking about your first center, which is when you measure all this out, and you come from up here, you shoot across to your top crown, you come back here, then you come from here down to this spot, then you come back over here. That's your first center when you come through. That's your first Alpha Omega. That's how that's set up. There's 5 of these things you have to travel through. And they got them set up in patterns. Okay, here's another. This one's a triangle. It comes down here, and it comes across. It's hidden, but it's a triangle. You can see it from on top. There's some other stuff in there, but we're not going to talk about it. Here's another crown symbol. See how the pattern is? Coming up, it's like that 5-sided one I drew. Comes up, it's a chevron. Just patterns on the side of the hill. Here's one of a square. That represents these points around your box. That's what they're using. What else we got? Okay, this one here is not a very good one, but you have to be there to see it in real life. I went through like 10,000 pictures and only found a couple of them. But this is a sun symbol. This is where that triangle was. Go ahead. That's fine. Okay, keep going. There's some more of them chevrons. No, go ahead. Okay, more of these chevrons. Okay, here's my protection symbol. Okay, go on. Okay, here's another one. Same thing I'm teaching you. They leave you all these clues there. They're telling you where it is, how to find it. Okay, go on to the next one. Okay, here's the same chevron again. This is part of that 5-sided, the star. It's up here. It's a pattern. Go to the next one and to where they can actually see the lines. And I don't know how these things last all these years, but they do. You can actually see it. Comes up, over, up, over, up, and down. It's still there. It's beyond me. At first, it went into here, so I started doing degrees. Here's another one that was triangles in the cliff. See how it's cut out? And once again, around the circle. Here's another one of the chevron points that I'm talking about. They're giving you everything you need. This particular one here is the symbol for God's house, or house of God. The way it is, this is the actual symbol. You can do your own research and find it. But up here, this rock is 5 sides. 5 sides, that's key. That's where the house of God, and that's the end of the cipher. This here is in New Mexico, on our center down there, first center. You see how they give us the pattern? They also give us Alfonso. ALF is an anagram for God again, like APH, God. Okay? This up here is actual degree reading. The boys will tell you that we actually, I said, go stand over there in the spot where we were looking at, and let me get a degree reading, and it was exact. They put all dates are not always dates. And I'm going to talk about that in here in just a second. Here's another one from New Mexico. It's the same thing I'm going to teach you guys. See these circles going through, and it's got a big circle around it? They're showing you how they set the side up. Okay? And more of these chevrons. See the square cut in the rock? Then there's another square here. Keep going. And once again, right here, you can see it. This one's a good one. Those are these points that they're using their compass off. This is how they're setting when they survey the sites up. This is how they're doing it. Okay? And, it's hard for me to see it, but there's one in there. Okay, here's one. Here's another one. And down in here, see that? Go back now, flip back real quick. So can you see it? Now do it. Holy cow, it's all over the ground. But now, then when you try to sort it out, that's why you need your center. What else we got, Lord? Okay. Now, I'm going to go back here. In the Vatican, They have this in the Vatican. And if you watch inside the Vatican, you're going to see a lot of what I'm talking about. They have R and an R. Why? You know, what's the meaning behind that? Well, what I'm going to teach you is this. O-R-O. We see O-R all the time. O-R-O. Orem. That's this. That's this. That's this. That's our secret. We've hid it right in front of all of our eyes. O-R-O. O-R-O. We start here, go to our center, then we go around, find the other one. O-R-O. It's simple. All we're doing is we're going to follow a path that's set up like an R. That's all we're going to do is we're going to make R's. And we're going to confirm points to make these R's to find where we need to go. Find this eraser here I don't like. Okay. What's next on my list, Lori, before I get going?
Yep.
Do I have anything? Okay, let me look at my paper. Okay. Okay, let's see which one we got here. Number 3. Huh? Oh, do you got them? Pop them up. Those are cool to see while I'm lining myself out. Okay. While she's pulling them crosses out, I'm going to go back to these crosses that everybody knows about that they see. They come across, and then you got another one over here, another one over here, and it's got a hill. Okay? If we think about it like this, here's our center. Cross comes up, comes this way. Then we got a cross over here and a cross over here. Here's our center. It's cut in half because what is above is also below. So this is we won't see that because we're standing on it. So over here we got the CR, crown royal, and over here we got the fallen crown. Okay, here's the crosses that I found. I can't find them anywhere else in the world, these particular crosses. I don't know if we got both of them, do we?
That's the second one.
Okay, there's the first one. There's 2 different ones. This is in Wyoming. Okay.
How do you know they're old? I mean, how do you know that they weren't carved a year ago or 2 years ago?
Well, you know,
The weatherization is really set, not sharply.
these particular ones are about this deep. I also have some dates nearby, 1600, 1700 dates. I also have names, and I will, like the fuzzy, we'll talk about the fuzzy. Here's the date, 1667. Fuzzy, don't worry about this guy here because somebody added that. Okay. Now, these numbers,
I love Wyoming.
just because it says 1667 does not mean it is 1667. Because some of these relate to degrees. You can actually type them in and do a GPS on Google Earth. And we did that one day. We plugged one in. And it took us up, Daniel was here, and maybe Skylar was up there one time, but up there at another site that I'd found, we had no idea. It was, holy cow, that's where up here with this other Spanish stuff is. It actually took us there by plugging these cords in. Okay, now let me talk about the fuzzy. I wanted to do this one, but we're here, so we'll wait on that one. Okay, when they ship, you know, they have nautical, you know, they come across the ocean on a ship. You got your little sail, okay? The fuzzy is the left or the right side of your directions. That's your chords for left or right. Now go to the next one. Steve-O, 1492. This here also, this wasn't added. This is part of it. There's some M's and some other stuff in here that relate, but that takes too long to talk about. But right now we're going to discuss Steve-O, 1492. That's the one we plugged in and got that. We used the cords that we had there, and then we plugged this in for the other one, and it took us up on the mountain to the other spot. Okay, now the Steve-O is actually the stab. The stab is your spar of your ship. The fuzzy is the left and the right. So Steve-O actually means stab, but they added the extra E and the O for a reason, because I've been chasing a set of O's, which there's 2 of them. They only used 1 here, but they used 2 E's this time because it was 33 degrees. Now I've got that one drawn somewhere out here that we had it coming out like this, crossing all the way over, and it actually comes down in there on a 33-degree line and crosses this side. What else we got, Larry? Okay, on the fuzzy. Okay, cool. Now, Ow. Okay. Well, I'm going to show you a little bit about, I'm going to do this one, then I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to jump around a lot because I got a lot to say. And by jumping around, I'm giving you guys a chance to soak, and then I'll jump back again because I like doing that anyway. So we got the crown oil right here, and the fallen crown, and then our top crown. Okay, so a lot of you have probably seen crosses kind of shaped something like that. They're not straight across. Well, this is how the crown oil and the fallen crown line up. Crown oil, fallen crown. These are the two things that were different at the site. And we spent 2 summers out there, 8 months one time, 6 months the next time, doing nothing but mapping and plotting on a grid. And this is what we come up with. These two weren't part of the equation. These were actually 12 degrees off. And I always put plus or minus because there could become an instance where this may be up here and this may be down here, so it's going to be reversed. That can happen. If you got your blueprints, well, you can build it the other way, the opposite. If you can build it one way, you can build it exactly the other way. So that's why I always add plus or minus 12 degrees. But what happens when you're walking your line, is you're walking this line, you get here and you move over 12 degrees, all this changes. What we're doing, it's like a set of scales we're weighing. Our souls are being weighed. Okay? Or, man, that stuff's down there and I got to lift it up, so we're using something to lift up. So by moving along this path I'm going to teach you guys, this moves this way, this moves that way on your compass reading. They shift. So basically what you're doing when you get to your point, you have raised this up and lowered that, so what was buried is now above, and see what I'm saying? Okay, it's like a teeter-totter. And that's the whole purpose of this. And if you want to think of it like Christ, think about it like Christ because it relates as well. That's why I call it fallen crown and the crown oil. Huh? Oh, no. Okay, now I'm going to back up to some words that people often get confused with. Alf, rain, R-E-Y, and D-A-V-I-S, 2008. Alf Rain Davis, 2008. Well, I took this picture and everybody says, I think Daniel might even comment, I can't remember. It's no good, it's got 2008 on it. That date's, it was just carved. Okay, I took this picture in 2002 is when I took the picture. Now explain that one. Now there's a reason behind it, and it's because, once again, that means God, okay, Alpha, Omega. Then we have Rain Davis. All right, well, they often wrote, these were also Y's. So we had a Y. God's raining day is 2008. That's what it meant. Something was going to happen in 2008. But if I walk around and stand kind of off to the side and look at this date becomes 5005 because I'm not looking directly at it anymore. They could do this too. So now it's got another meaning. It means 2 places of gold plus here's them double zeros I've been chasing forever. All right, so now with this, Raining Davis, here's something other people don't know about. We have 2 meanings because we're looking at it from the side. If we put this, you can get on the computer and plug this in anagrams. What it means is vineyards. That's what it spells. Vineyards. So now we have God's vineyards, 2 places of gold. So remember, just what you read doesn't, don't always, think, that's nothing because it could be something. They do use anagrams. I've seen this before, and it's quite cool. And you wonder why? Why would it be in English or why in this other language? Well, if I was in charge and everybody spoke Spanish or whatever, and I knew 3 or 4 languages, I sure the heck ain't going to write it in the language they can understand. So I'm going to write it in some other language, and there's no English-speaking people out in this area at the time. And we were fighting the British, in 1774. And, okay. Back to the box. Yep. We're going to go back to the box, regroup. Said that. You guys follow along. At the end, I'll let you guys ask questions, because you will have questions. Okay. I don't draw very good, as you can tell. Okay. So, when we come up to here, we've traveled to here to our center point. We've went north. We know this is our east-west line right here. East-west and our north-south. This distance we travel from here to here is 12 degrees. It was also 12 degrees this way to the 45 line. Okay? What they're doing is they're using 12 degrees. That's the whole thing is set based off of 12 degrees. Everything. The whole side is set up on 12 degrees. It's 12 degrees to the center. Always 12 degrees to the center. Now if I come back this way, it's going to be 12 degrees to here. It's the center. Always 12 degrees to the center. So in essence, you got a grid, a graph paper, and your graph paper, right now we're going to use squares, but each of these squares is 12 degrees, 12 degrees, 12 degrees. Even the big one, 12 degrees to the center. So that was a key point. Now if you remember my crowns, they were off 12 degrees. If I moved each of them 12 degrees, they would be directly across from each other. And they were not part of our equation around here, so then we had something, which is really cool, because now we're making progress, I said. Okay. Okay. Everybody always asks me, what's with all these numbers right here? And when I'm walking along, these guys even heard me, and she's heard me. I'm spouting, okay, that's 12, 33, 45, 57. And they're like, what are you doing? It's because when I'm traveling inside the box, I have to know where I'm at. You have to know where you're at. So while you're moving, just because, like, say, a good example is, let's make this north and that corner south. All right, in the middle here, right here in the middle, everything's perfect. That's where you want to be, because that's north, that's south, that's east, that's west. Wow, everything works. But if I don't have these points, and I'm over here on this side, my north point ain't north anymore, because you're moving around inside the grid. If you're over here, this ain't north. North might be over here. That's why you have to find your outside points, your points, and know where you're at in the grid. So you find your center, and you work out from the center. Okay. So, I got this wrote down. I'm going to follow this. Come here, you can hold this while I draw this. That way, I keep it in order. You can hold it so I can see it, though. All right? You have to hold it. Thank you. Okay, so we got northeast, which is always northeast. Your top crown is always going to be northeast, and I'm going to talk about what they use for these particular points, so it'll give you some idea what to look for. Okay, then we got our north, we got our south, and we got our east, but even though this is west, we don't have that west point in the center. It doesn't exist. Your east point you can find it. This one don't exist because it exists somewhere else, because we're going from one center to another center. It's like walking through a hallway, and you start in the middle of the hallway, and by the time you get to the other end of the hallway, you come out into another room. So it's two centers. You're following a path. And that's how they did this. What they're doing is they're using all these different geometrical shapes. There's 5 of them that you got to go through and find each center, and then move to the next one, find that center, move to the next one. It's a path until you get to the last one, and then it gets good. Okay, let me see. Okay, so from here to here is 12 degrees coming this way. 12 degrees, 12 degrees. All this center, no matter which way we come, it's going to be 12 degrees. Now, if we shoot from here up to here, and we shoot down to here, okay, and then we go this way, 12 degrees, we have a line here, okay? And this line here is where your FC is going to fall on. And then over here is going to be your CR. Now, where they fall on, they could be out here. This one in New Mexico was like a mile away. they don't have, they can put it anywhere they want because this is the one they use to control where it's hidden. They're going to use the same path, the same exact thing. You're going to do the same thing over and over, but this here guy is the one that controls where they hide it. You can walk the same way, it's just going to show up somewhere else. So that way, somebody like me who likes to reverse engineer stuff can't find them all. I have to walk the path every time. If I don't know the path, I can't do it. So we move 12 degrees to here, and because this comes up right here, this is our 33-degree line. This is a 33-degree line. Okay, we come to here, we move 12 degrees this way, so this makes sense. This is how they're thinking, 33 degrees. So this is a 33-degree line we have coming through here from the side. So we call it 33 degree. And let's see here, what we got here. Okay, so if you was to do this all the way around, well actually it's right here where it comes across there, comes over and comes up and ties into here. I can't draw for nothing. Anyway, these are all 12 degrees. And the thing about this is you can actually plot this by coming like that, and like that, and you'll get your four corners of your 33 degree, and it's 12 degrees from the center to there, 12 degrees center, 12 degrees, 12 degrees, 12 degrees, all the way around. But this is the one you want because this is the one that ties in with your crown royal and your fallen crown. Without them, you can wander around forever digging up turtles and whatever, I've done enough of that in my life. Okay, let me look. Okay. Let me draw another one. So basically, I don't want to mess that one up. Okay, let's have them walk through. Out at the site, we had W's, WTs. We also had MTs, and all this was the opposite of this, a WT, MT. But if you put them together, once again, you've got your alpha, omega, and then you got your T. Okay, and it comes together. What happens here is they're telling you where all your points are. It's like in my video I put, they got an M carved on this rock here, but how many people actually ask, why is this M here, and why is that M over there, and why is there an M over there? Well, we asked this. We wanted to know, why are they placing them? That's because they're marking just like the chevrons. They're marking stuff with M's and T's. These are important points. And it's a whole different way of thinking. Anyway, where'd he go? Oh, here he is. Okay, so hold
stuff on the walls, I don't think.
Well, find a chair, bring a chair up.
You lay it right against that.
You can bring a chair up and tape it to the back of it. All right, now, that's when I get into this here. Okay, we'll discuss this a little bit. Okay, as I'm moving around in here, I know this is my fixed point, the ones I'm working off, and I'm working off my top crown. Because you need your top crown in order to work it. It's like clockwork. I got to know where that is. But as I'm moving around, all these numbers are changing. Like, I know they're 12 degrees apart, but they're also changing from 33 to 45 degrees as I'm in there. So when you're in there, you have to have your grid paper. So whenever you move, you write it down because you need to know where you're at inside the box. Otherwise, nothing makes sense. Because you can stand here, well, north is over here. Well, no, north, this is our box. It's contained. This is north. But these degrees here might be okay. Like this might say 45, even though 45 was here before. This is our new 45. And the reason for that is because when you're moving around in here, you got a center here. This might be your new 45 line. Everybody follow me on that? And then you might have, because there'll be different lines. Each box is contained, and they each have a center, and it can get really confusing, but I'm going to make it easy for you guys today. I just want to do this because so you guys can see how much hard work I had to do. Okay, so we come across to the center, 12 degrees. That's our first move, 12 degrees. We confirm this by using our top crown because it's 33 degrees from here. We can come over here 12 degrees and get a straight line and find our center, 12 degrees. So then we move up to here 12 degrees with 4 degrees of separation. There's 3 4s, and these are also marked along the way. They're marked. And we actually measured those and did grids on those, and everybody's looking at me like, what are you doing? And I said, no, man, I'm on to something. Anyway, so the FC was over here, and the CR was over here. So we get to here, and so we know this is a 33 degree line because this one came up and crossed. So we moved this way 12 degrees, and we've seen a shift in the degree reading. These things moved. Holy cow, we're onto something because these were off 12 degrees, and if we made them even, then they'd be straight across, and all we need to do was 12 degrees. 12 degrees was the key all the way around. Every one of these points are 12 degrees apart. Even though this is 45, it's 12 degrees, it's also 33. All these compute, but it depends on where you're at inside the box. And here's another thing a lot of people don't know, and which will explain the 12 degrees a little bit more for you. I'll draw it real quick here. Okay. Now, we have a box. And we have a box. Okay. And we have a circle. And we have a circle. What we're dealing with is two boxes. Because we're going from one center. We're going to walk some crazy path over to the center of this one. That's what they want us to do. And the reason they do this, we got 12 degrees, 12 degrees, 12 degrees all the way across. These aren't 90-degree boxes. They're not. They're actually 96 degrees. 96, 96, 96, 96. They're off. Just because they're computing this. That way they get their 12-degree shifts. And then when you end up over in here, it computes. You've moved everything. Everything is shifted 12 degrees at the end. Okay, you want to show them some stuff real quick? And then I can get a drink, huh? Yeah, go ahead and run them through it. What do you think? You know where I'm at.
When he's discussing his box with all the degrees around it, when you keep working your way in, and you continue to make the box smaller and smaller, you're going to end up in a pattern like this over your whole entire set.
It's crazy. Anyway, go on, show them
Walking the grid.
yeah, walking the grid. Because then they can have a quick image of it. And this is one of our maps we gridded out. And it's not complete, but this is just some of how it looks when we're sitting there doing our degrees. And we got points on each point. But what our fallen crown and our crown royal didn't compute in here. They didn't cross anything. They were over here, they stood out. Them 2 points didn't count. So we knew we had something there. Everything else was computing. Go ahead. Okay? This is basically your 12 degrees, 4 degrees. Quick thing, varies. Then you walk back down. And I'll do that on the board too. Here's our degrees of measurement, 33 line, and then when you walk 12, it comes back down, but crosses here, from here to there is actually 12 degrees. From here to there is 12 degrees. Your fallen crown falls into place here, but that's when this line is created, because this becomes 33 degree, four-sided pyramid. Okay, go on. Okay, first center. 12, you guys filming this? Good. Okay. There's the alpha omega, the first one. Okay, here's our R. All we're doing is we're making R's to the center. We're coming up, come back. It's an R. R shape is all we're doing. Okay, we come in. There's our cipher. We come here, find our first center, move up to here, move to the next one, move to the next one, and when we get to the last one, we have this symbol, which was our first east point. It will be at the other one. And I have seen maps that they've written where there's actual tree on the map. So if any of you got a tree on your map, you might be able to relate to what I'm talking about. Okay, now, and when we moved up to here, we got we have first, second. See how it creates an alpha omega? Once again, another center. Okay, what else we got? Okay, there again, we did this for your viewing pleasure. Okay. See, we create another R, once again, because we're going to the center. It's always to the center, 12 degrees. Okay, let's see what else you got. Okay, what do we got going down the other? Oh, no, what about these others? Ones with the colors in them. Did you show those? Okay, you showed the green one with the green color. You see that? Yeah. Okay, so when we came in the first time, it looked like this. Okay, what else we got in that row? Okay. So now what's hard for everybody to understand is, okay, well, how can this be? You got a point and it comes up here, this is your north, and this is down here, and this is here, and you got a box in here. Well, it doesn't work. Well, remember, it's because you're looking this way to your south point, you're looking this way to your east point. You can't stand here and look back, because it doesn't work that way. Because when we move around, We move. We're changing degrees. We're traveling. And if you take it, like somebody says, well, I followed this for so far. Well, you're moving. Degrees are changing. North is always north, but the north point you seen hours ago ain't the same north point anymore. It's moved on you. So that's why they contain it. But inside here, because it's 12 degrees spaces, it isn't really a box. But the way you need to think about it is you need to think of it as a box. It's actually something like this, like a diamond, because everything's 96, 96, 96, 96. So even though this is 180 degrees around here, and this is east to west, they are. But these are, it's shaped like a diamond, so they can get their 96 degrees in. 12 degrees difference, and on each move, 96, all the way around. Huh? Okay. I will let you photograph my my blueprint. I'll let you photograph everything. What do you got, Laurie? Okay. All right. Now, that's why we have all these numbers here, because when you're moving around, these numbers are going to show up. They're going to pop up. You're thinking, well, wow, okay. You know, you're going to see 33 maybe here, 12 here. Like here's a 180, 80. But when we get closer to the end, your point's going to be here. It's going to move 12 degrees because everything's moved when it shifts. Okay. This is what it looks like in Google Earth. Crown royal, fallen crown, center, top crown. Okay. Once again, see how it lines out? Okay. Then they also have these circles in here. How they did this? They didn't measure it by feet. Or VARs. They did it all with these degrees of movement. Yeah, there's degrees of movement. I can create a circle with the compass. I can create a square with the compass. I can recreate everything they've done. As you can see right here, these are the points that we found, and I'm putting it down on paper. Same thing. All done with a compass. Okay, what else we got? That was it?
That was the last one.
Okay. All right. Okay, we'll get to that one here when we get close to the end. Okay. All right, I'm going to speed this up a little bit for you guys. Okay, we're inside this box. We come from our center. We've moved here, one move, 12 degrees. This is your first alpha omega right here. That's your center of your box. You come up to your second alpha omega right here. But then we do a shift of 12 degrees. 12, 12, to this point. This is where everybody gets confused. And it's really not that hard if you think about it, because you're going to watch your top crown. Top crown. That's the one you're paying attention to, because now you're traveling on this 33 degree line. You've got your line. You're going to watch this guy. So you move over 12 degrees. That makes this 57, but forget about all that because it's not important, because this is now your 45 because you've moved over, because we created a 33 here. So we move over here and we're going to call this 45, even though we read this differently when we do the compass. So because we came up this way, 3 moves of 4 degrees of separation to get here, and we also traveled 12, they've given us the equation. So we come down 4, come out 12, and then from here we have 57 degrees. Okay, then we come down 4, come out 12, just like here, 12, 4, 4, 12. Then here we have 69 degrees. North to south, right there. The 69 degrees, the saddlebags I was talking about, on each side. This puts you right in the center of that. So now, we're getting somewhere, but we still haven't got anything. It's 69 degrees. I'm not impressed yet. That's what I'm thinking. So I drop down 3, move over 3, and then this spot here was my 5th door. From this spot here, we have all my points are now 72 degrees apart. I have the 5-pointed star. I have this drawn. This is very hard to teach people, but you guys will have these drawings. Okay, so I've come up, I made my moves, and I've ended up right here in the center. 72, 72, 72, 72, 72. I'm in the second center. perfect 72, 5-point star. That's what I was looking for. So, and another, I want to point this out real quick. Right here. All it is it's a miter hat. "72, 72, 72, 72, 72. Your fallen crown is here. This is your center. You've created the miter hat. The Pope and all them religious guys wear. Okay? So, from there, this is where it really got funky. We ended up, we're here, so we had to confirm it. Yep, there was a top crown symbol there, right there at that spot. And I also had an eye, which was a tree that had an eye in it, but the top crown symbol was something like this. Let's do this. That was the top crown symbol. The same one I had here was also at this new spot with 72 degrees all the way around. This little bad boy here gives you a little bit more idea. So we're in the center. All these points around here are 72 degrees. Also, I have this symbol carved on a rock right there. So I know I'm at the top crown, so I'm thinking, all right, the pyramid, eye at the top, oh, let's go there. So, about 25 feet later, nothing. Nothing. I have dug a straight hole down. You want to show some pictures of that? Because this is where it gets interesting. I have all these moves wrote down. I'm going to let you guys, because right now I'm just going to run you through it. It's very hard to understand. I will let you photograph. And if something comes up on your site, I know somebody out there is going to have the same stuff. That's why we're doing it. Warming up. Okay. Now, the crowns, the movements through the walk, that always gets people. So we'll probably end up going back over 12, 12, 12, 12, 12 again. You know, it's not that hard. It's when you put all the thinking into it, because I can just walk it and not really worry too much about it, because I'm going to get there eventually anyway. Okay. Okay, that's one of my holes here. It's a huge hole, gets deeper, because I want to know what's buried there. All right. I started out, there was several of us doing it. Pretty soon, one by one, they all left, and it was just me. Well, how do we judge ourselves on failure? I'm not failing. I want to know why I had this here, why at this particular spot, when we found it, we had a top crown. We also had a fallen crown was over here, and the crown royal was here, and you got pictures of those too. This made a triangle, and they were 20 feet apart here. So after digging here and not finding anything, and everything, we had things telling us. Rods were telling us, we had equipment telling us, there's something here. Nothing. We dug, there's nothing. So then, I decided, well, got this here, and it's 20 feet. I'm going to dig this out. I dug. And I dug. And I dug. Okay, we'll say that for a bit. Okay, so eventually, I'm digging this hole down, down. And what I find is about 5'7", 5'8" in there, that 5'7", 5'8" rule. I noticed that one of these layers of hard rock that kicked our butt in this hole was there, but it was on the side. It was here. It was here. It was here. What is above is also below. They went to the extent to put another triangle directly below. They dug it up, dug it through the bedrock, and then refilled it in again. That's why my equipment said the ground was disturbed. But we had rods that were also saying something was there. And there's a reason behind that. Okay, so they dug this big hole here, so I dug all this out. Okay, now I've dug another triangle out. Now what do they want me to do? You know, now what's the next move? Because I've done all this work, I've got to here, everything's 72 degrees around, all my points, and I'm at the second center. I'm here, what am I missing? So we backed up and we started looking at everything. I gridded everything again. And, well, the reason the rods went off, you know, everybody's little rods, we had everybody, all the professional guys, you know, we can get it. Oh, yeah, it's right there, everybody. I wouldn't tell them where it was. They'd walk right by, yeah, it's right here. What happens when they build these things is when you got all these points going around it and they start creating these lines, they create energy. And what happens is they buried something out there, and this energy is picked up along the line, and it's transferred through the lines. So like each center, you think you got something. The rods tell you there's something there, but there's nothing there. It's just a high energy point that's picking up off your actual treasure because it's on one of these lines. And we ended up figuring that out and are able to get rid of that now, but that guy isn't here because he's scared to death that people will kill him or something. So I can't even mention his name because he's so good at what he does. But we have none of them play effect. But that's why it's got all the rods went off. Because you've seen, we gridded it. Everything said it was right there. The grid line, everything. We had all our lines pointing up. So, and another thing, here's a good one. I sent some pictures to another guy back east who's really good at map dowsing. And I do this with a lot of people, try to find people who really know how to do this stuff. And he sends me back this picture. And he says, yeah, I marked all the spots. All these spots show gold. And I'm looking at, he's marked bang, 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 bang. And then he's got one bang, bang, bang. These are our lines that we're measuring. He's picking up the gold on these lines. And I sent him a message back. I said, there's no gold there. I said, but maybe I thought you might need to know that you picked up on our lines that we're working out here. That's what you picked up on. He went right in, went out the other ear. So I tried to help him. But anyway, that did it. See? Each one of those are on our lines. Coming across. This one comes across. Here. This is a line coming across. There's one that comes here. And then there's another one that comes down this way. That's what he picked up on. He's picking up on that energy line. And you can actually, when you're out there, you can actually take pictures. And if you look close enough, sometimes you can pick them up and you can actually see these lines. So when you see me talking about invisible lines, stuff like that, it's these energy lines. You can actually capture them in your photo. And Billy and Kitty almost went nuts over that too. And so Skylar, I think, when they first start seeing them. Okay, what else we got? Next. Okay, go to the one you want to show me. Thank you. The one of the triangle. Triangle is under the triangle, that file. And then I'll jump to there. The one that shows the triangle on the ground, and the three crowns, the ones with the faces, where I dug the hole to China and never got take out. But I was sure buff. Well, you knew that summer. That was pretty tough. You had it a minute ago, the one with the Google Earth view. Okay. All right. Just pop them up and I'll go through them because okay. So here is where we ended up. Right here. And these other crowns were down in here, and my top crown was here. Our last center was here, and everything's 72 degrees around. Show the one carving on the rock real quick, and then we're going to come back to this. Going to bounce. This is over on the hand of God. Comes down, south point, north point. You got your triangle. See this lunar eye? Now go back to the other one. Again, once the circles, this is information they left us. Yep. Lunar eye. My north, my south over here, and this is the same shape as what was carved on the rock. So we knew we were in the right spot. Okay, so even from that spot, here's my tree, 1, 2, 3, and then there was a branch coming out of it. That was directly west from there. So I found my west point as well. So we were there, but what are we doing wrong? It's driving me nuts. Here's my first cipher, which confused everybody. Nobody knows how to read it but me. Okay, this is my Crown Royal face. It's a guy, he's alive. He was reversed. Fallen Crown was on the right. They reversed sides at this spot. So they actually reversed. Here he is again. I knew he was close when we found that, but I'm still beating my head against rocks. Here's the Fallen Crown. It's a skull. See the skull? Right here. I was actually standing in the hole, digging down, and you can see where they cut through the rock. I'm not digging through hard rock. It was already dug. So that's why I kept digging. Man, I'm going to get to it because all this rock has been backfilled. And I can see the edges, but there wasn't anything, no Chinese food down there. Okay, what else we got? Okay, right here, this was up here at our spot too, and we got it drawn out, but there's a diamond shape here with a dot in it. That stands for the urina. It looks something like that. Okay, like the center of what we started, our center of our box, a diamond. our box here, but it's tweaked a little bit to be like a diamond. This was also there as well. That's the urna. That means you're there, your second center, the fifth alpha omega. Okay, now back to the God's house. Remember, we had 5 points around there, 5-sided chevron. I also had that at that spot, 5 points. Everything measured. My top crown, my north point, my fallen crown, everything was at 72 points now. I was in God's house now. But what am I doing? I still can't figure it out. Okay, so here's where I gridded my hole. You can see I gridded from up here down here, and I gridded my line here, and I gridded across, and I also measured the depth, and I also ran a line through here down, straight down, because I grid everything, because I like to be precise, and I take notes. Okay, this is a colon from our top crown straight up through here. There's a little tree here with little circles in it, but beyond that was the Chiro symbol, which could only be seen from the top crown, and it was 12 degrees off from the north point. Okay, yeah, go ahead. You got a closer one? Can you see the Chiro? Right there. It's kind of laying on its side because it's supposed to be, because when we move 12 degrees, it's going to tilt it back. That's why it's shaped like that. But that was one of the things we could line up with. Skylar lined up with it, did his thing on his phone. He says, that's celestial north, am I right? It was celestial north, right to that point. And he come up with that. You know, I know stuff, but other people know stuff too, and that's what makes things cool. All right, what else we got? At the hole. Back to the hole. Yeah. Okay. This here, we can do this one. To the west of where that tree was on my west point, directly west, is this little shrine area. This wood has been here since the people who built this place. That wood has been there. It's cedar doesn't like to rot. So they actually use dead wood to create images as well. They pile a bunch of dead wood and make a square out there. So I quit burning dead wood after I found that out. Okay, here's the miter hat. This actually had a face on it at one time, but it's worn off. And then on here there's a cross actually. But here's the miter hat right there. Same thing as what we have when we do our final. All right. What else we got? Okay. So what happens when you get to this last move, and this is the part that threw me off. I couldn't figure out, what am I doing wrong here? It's driving me nuts. Okay. So I dug down and I realized that there was a triangle underneath the triangle, but I could only see this point, and this point, and I dug down. There was no other points down here. They didn't need it, but they let me know when I dug that, yeah, there's another triangle there. You know, I dug it out and it was there. So from here, right here, in the lunar eye, on this line going straight across, everything this way, up to there, this way, 33 degrees. I'm up here, when I dug the hole, it was 72 degrees. But right here, everything's 33 degrees. It's 33 degrees down here to the box, which put it right about here, was 33 degrees coming down. This one went up 33 degrees. 33 degrees here in the new box, 33. So everybody's always talking about these 33 degree lines. So I took my compass, held it up, and let's do this again. Okay, I shot from there, looked at my compass, 33 degrees, and I also know where I'm at in the box because I kept track all the time. You have two maps. One you're doing, and then you have your main box. If you don't know where you're at in the box, you're going to be lost when you get here. Okay, 33 degrees from here is where it was. I could see it, plain as day, right there. I could not see that from anywhere else. All I had to do is use my compass and draw a line straight through 33 degrees. In New Mexico, the thing that was different in New Mexico is here's our first center. In Wyoming, our second center was up here. In New Mexico, our second center was here because the fallen crown was different. It was further out. So we went up and we traveled further. We went below. So what is above is also below. So because of that, my 33 degree lines came out the bottom instead of the top. And we located both the tunnels there, but I was fat man in a tight hole. We're going to wait and get somebody else to get here. Those were marked with circles and L's all the way down in. I went in quite a ways, followed them all the way until I got to a spot where I said, I'm Bart Jeppesen, and I ain't going to let anybody call help for me, and I come back out because I didn't want to be embarrassed being stuck, fat man in a hole. Anyway, now, back to here. Here's something else that you all need to know, is when you're doing this, there's a gimme point in here, right in here, and Daniel's seen it, and the other guys that have seen it, that is right up in here. When you make your first move up in here and you move over to this spot, you want to pay attention to what directly up this way, because there are 3 spots right in here that are marked where they will hide treasure, and they get to choose. And the only way you can find that is when you get to this spot here, straight up. And they will be marked right in here as well. And that's a gimme. The rest of this stuff is a little harder, but you get to that point, it's right there. So another way to look at this is once you find your top crown, because it's an easy one, because they give you easy one first to let you go somewhere else. Ah, we got it. I'm out of here. Woohoo! Okay, so here's my top crown. Then from here going this way, there's an area, and it's about 16 feet from the center where your top crown is. This way 16 feet this way. That's a good, just figure 16 feet. And you go this way, 12, don't go any further than 12 degrees. And you can find the 12 degrees from here, or you can go down here 33 and then go to minus 12 is 21 right here. You can actually pinpoint this spot right here, so then you can contain it between here and where your top crown is, and there'll be 3 places right in here. One of those places is going to be where they stored the treasure. And one of the ways is to find it is this way, or you can get your equipment and know that 16 feet this way, 16 feet that way, somewhere in here is where it's going to be. That's an easy one. That one's easy. It's easy to find. You can run equipment. That's a gimme one compared to this other one. Okay, we're running out of time. Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, if you don't, let me just say this last thing. If you don't know where you're at when you get to here on your map, you write your photos, you go write it down, you're not going to know your 33 degree. And what helped me figure it out is I actually had a number 45 and a number 45. And for months, what the hell are those 45s? Why are they there? 33, oh, 12 in, 33. And bang, we rocked. Okay, what do we got? Okay. Right here, God has 2 faces, the light and the darkness. What it's basically saying, and I speak about this a lot, some people think it's, oh, that's evil, that's satanic. It isn't. Because when you think about your circle and all these eyes around it, okay, well, this is the earth, and it's dark, night and day. God has 2 faces, light and the darkness. That's what that means. And that symbol there is, you can also finish the lines up, and it's another Alpha Omega. And what was really neat about this is the Eye of Horus was right there, and he was a white face, and on the other side was an Indian, and he was always in the shade, shadow, so I also had the light and the darkness as well. Okay, I've speeded up as fast as I could with the amount of time we have. There's probably people waiting. Keystone. This also works with the site. It's got an eye in the middle. It's got faces on the sides. And right here. And I've posted this on my Facebook page, how it works. And it actually, it's at the end game too. It was there. All our maps and stuff we find at the site. I'm not using any other maps. Everything I get is used from the site. Here's where the keystone worked. Right there. Fit in there. And those circles. These are actually, it's cut to fit that. Keep going, just keep going through. I'm not supposed to show that one. It's all right. Anyway. Okay. So, questions really come up, and you guys can ask questions, and because we're running out of time, I don't know how many people are waiting to get in here or not, but I tried to speed it up as fast as I can. I want you guys to get pictures, soak it in. You've got it videoed. The reason I'm doing this is because no one should have control of this. It shouldn't be just for us. We've unlocked something, and we can fight now. Game time. And if somebody comes in and offers me a bunch of money, that's what my no was. No, I'm not selling out. Nobody to hear this today.
Couple questions. Mark, so this is something that you figured out on your own?
Yeah, years work, yeah. And we gridding and mapping it all, only because everything else, nothing else was working. Well, why not think about the guys who built this place? They had surveyors, so why not find their surveyor points and figure out how they did it and use something that they would have done, which is these cheap compass kind of stuff, you know, because they're using degrees of movement, and that's what we used to unlock it.
So is this one group, I mean, you're saying it's working in Wyoming and in...
Well, okay, I'll tell you where it works. I know it worked in Wyoming, it worked in New Mexico, it worked in Turkey, it works in Australia, it works in South America, and this is all over. It's the same, universal. It's universal, just like, right. It's just like the pyramids. Everybody's got them. They have them here. I've tested them. There's a guy that just contacted me from Oregon or Washington. I didn't ask, but I know it's up in that area. He's got the same kind of stuff. He posted some stuff on my page. There's another guy back east, I think Illinois or Iowa, that found something. We don't know what's at the end of each of them. It's a spiritual journey. It's like a church. It's the closest you can get to God by going through this pattern. Because when you get to the end, you're in the center of a perfect five-pointed star, 72 degrees. Everything is moved. You're perfect in harmony. And it's a path to God. And the prize is different in each one. Now with the Spanish, we're talking vaults, gold vaults, lots of gold. But we don't know what's at these others.
So this is, you think this is Spanish?
No, I think it's older. I think it's older, and the Spanish knew about it, and that's why it was so easy for them. Templars knew about it. That's why it's all over. It stems from way back, and just all that knowledge is lost. You know, when you got your leaders and you kill all your leaders, then pretty soon all you got is the guy that dug the hole and said, well, the turtle was pointing at it. Or, you know what I mean? So when you think of it on the scale this way, why spend 20 years, 30 years out there when we spent 2 summers. 2 summers. And we lived there. And then when I went to New Mexico, it took me after we confirmed our points, 3 hours. 3 hours.
We've already found the top ground.
But he'd found everything I asked him to find.
One center, and I sent pictures, and Bart confirmed it, but when we went out there, that Alfonso was
our first center. Our first center. And it took me 3 hours to do it.
we didn't know.
3 hours. And it works.
So you spent a couple hours, Mark, show us what you spent
Years of doing. And it's hard to adjust. Right. Well, that's another reason why I let you guys film it and let you guys take pictures, because it's going to take a while to soak in. But if you can find these points that I'm talking about, this point, that point, and this point, you got it going on. It's just simple. You don't need to find all this other stuff. You just got to find a few things, because I already did all that work. I already did it all.
I've also brought in some business cards with Bart's contact information, Penny and Bill's information as well.
Cool.
Please feel free to take one. Bart is very open to communicating about
I talk to all kinds of people. I'm always helping them for nothing.
So feel free.
That's who I am. But take some pictures of these things I got up here, because if any of this made any sense to any map you've got, in any relation or anything you've seen, then it can be worked the same way. And it works. It took me 3 hours in New Mexico. The only thing is we knew we had it, so we're going back to New Mexico this year.
I've got the
Here, wait a minute. Let me move that.
Harold Vito is the name of that.
Thank you for your time. I hope it wasn't a total waste. It was a lot of hard work for us, and it was confusing, I know, but if you video it, I'll let you take pictures. They're going to have copies of the videos.